The days that followed Haruto's confession were a blur. Aoi's heart was in a delicate state, healing, yet bruised, hopeful yet uncertain. She and Haruto had come so far, but she couldn't help but carry the weight of everything they'd gone through. There was still a lingering ache, one that she wasn't sure could ever fade completely. Even though Haruto had finally admitted his feelings for her, Aoi found it hard to fully embrace their relationship again. She wanted to forgive him, wanted to forget the months of distance, the coldness, the heartbreak. But trust, once broken, didn't easily heal. There were still moments when her chest tightened with the memory of his indecision, of the time they had lost, and of the time she had been left wondering where she stood. For the first time in a long while, Aoi found herself sitting alone, reflecting on everything that had happened. The rain outside the window mirrored the storm inside her heart. Haruto was by her side again. But could they rebuild what had been shattered? Could they move past the old wounds and truly start over? She wasn't sure. She needed time. Time to heal. Time to regain the trust that had. Haruto had always thought that love was simple, that the person you loved was the one you'd fight for, no matter what. But now, after everything, he realized that love was not just about finding the one you wanted to be with. It was about acknowledging the pain you caused, the mistakes you made, and the consequences of your actions. Even now, with Aoi back in his life, Haruto couldn't shake the lingering feeling of guilt. He had hurt her deeply. No matter how much he apologized, no matter how much he tried to make it right, the scars they both carried weren't easily erased. He was grateful for her forgiveness, but the question of whether he truly deserved it haunted him. For weeks, he tried his best to show Aoi that he was committed to making things work. They spent more time together, talking, laughing, and slowly rebuilding the connection they once shared. But Haruto couldn't ignore the feeling that they were still walking on fragile ground, and he wasn't sure how long it would take for Aoi to fully trust him again. Meanwhile, Rina had made her own decision. She had come to terms with the fact that Haruto's heart belonged to Aoi. It wasn't easy to admit, and it wasn't easy to let go, but she knew it was the right thing to do. She couldn't keep holding on to something that wasn't hers, and in doing so, she realized she had been holding herself back from finding happiness elsewhere. Rina spent several weeks processing her emotions. She had given Haruto everything she had: her warmth, her laughter, her care, but it wasn't enough. In the end, she understood that sometimes love was about knowing when to walk away, even when it hurt. And so, Rina decided it was time to say goodbye, not just to Haruto, but to the past she had been clinging to. She wrote a letter, her final words to him, explaining everything. The letter: Haruto, I've always believed that love was about giving all of yourself to someone, and for a while, I thought maybe I could be the one to make you happy. But the truth is, you've already found the one who makes you whole. Aoi was always meant to be the one by your side, and I can't keep holding on to something that was never truly mine. I'll be okay. I'll find my own way, just like you found yours. I just wanted to thank you for the time we shared. You showed me what it was like to be loved, and I'll always be grateful for that. Take care of yourself, Haruto, and take care of Aoi. She's lucky to have you. One afternoon, Haruto received Rina's letter. His heart sank as he read her words, realizing the finality of her decision. She had let go, and now it was time for him to face the reality of the situation. Ao was his choice. He had made that decision with all his heart. But seeing Rina's words, seeing the grace with which she accepted defeat, made him feel something deeper than guilt. It made him realize just how much Rina had cared for him, just how much she had been willing to sacrifice. Haruto decided to meet Rina, to thank her for everything and offer his own closure. He found her sitting alone in a quiet corner of the park, her eyes distant but calm. "I got your letter," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Rina, I'm sorry. I never meant for you to get hurt." Rina smiled softly, though her eyes were filled with a quiet sadness. "You don't need to apologize, Haruto. I knew the truth from the beginning. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just, sometimes, love doesn't work out the way we hope, and that's okay." Haruto sat down beside her, silent for a moment. "I don't know what to say. You were so good to me. You didn't deserve to be hurt." Rina turned to him, her gaze steady and kind. "I'll be okay. I promise. I just needed to let go. You don't have to worry about me." Haruto nodded, the weight of her words settling in his chest. There was so much he wanted to say, but the truth was simple. Rina had shown him what it meant to love selflessly, to care without expectation, and for that he would always be grateful. Later that evening, Aoi found herself standing in front of the cherry blossom tree, the place where so much of their history had been written. It was here that she had first realized how much Haruto meant to her, and it was here that their love story had truly started. As she stood there, lost in thought, she heard a soft voice behind her. She turned to see Haruto walking toward her, a faint smile on his lips. "You okay?" he asked, his voice gentle. Aoi nodded, wiping away the tears that had unexpectedly welled up in her eyes. "I've just been thinking about everything. The pain, the distance, the way we got here." Haruto took a step closer, his hand hesitating in the air before gently taking hers. "I know it's not easy, Aoi. I know I hurt you, but I'm here now, and I'll do whatever it takes to make things right." Aoi looked up at him, her heart heavy with the weight of their past, but lighter with the hope of their future. "I know, Haruto, I know." They stood there for a long while, the cherry blossoms swaying gently in the wind around them, a symbol of both their past and their future. They didn't need words, just the quiet promise of healing, of moving forward.